Very often, we're going to want to change what we have inside our string. To alter a string, whether we want it to be all uppercase or lowercase, we want to change a word within our string. Whatever it is we want to do, Python probably already has a built-in method for us to just use, rather than reinvent the wheel ourselves. So let's take a look at a couple of examples over here. The upper method is simply going to convert all of our characters to their uppercase representation. The way that we use it is by writing myString, and in case you don't remember, myString holds the string hello world, followed by a dot, and then the name of the method we want to call. So in our case, it's the upper method. So we're doing myString.upper followed by parentheses because we're calling a function. And the result that we're going to get is hello world, which is all caps lock. Now we can do the exact same thing, only for lowercase. We're going to once more write myString dot, and now this time we're calling the lower function, followed by parentheses. And now hello world is going to be all lowercase. Now, a couple of more interesting and a bit more complicated functions, which are also built into Python, are methods like strip. What strip essentially does is it removes a white space that comes before or after a string. So if you take a look over here, we have a variable called extra white spaces. And inside of it, we have white spaces leading up to hello world, followed by more white spaces. Now, when we're going to call extra white spaces.strip, it's going to remove the white spaces before and after hello world, essentially in the beginning and the end of our string. And that's why over here, we're getting hello world without any white spaces before or after it. Now the next method is a bit different. The replace method essentially takes a word or a string within our current string and replaces it with another word or string. The way that we can use it is by calling myString.replace, and then we're going to give it two inputs this time. The first input is going to be the word that we're looking for, the word that we want to replace or remove from our string. The second input is going to be the word that we want to replace it with, essentially what we want to plug into our new string. So in case you don't remember, my string had hello world inside of it. And now we replace the word world with John. So now our new string is hello John. The next method we're going to see is the split method. The split method essentially splits a string based on a provided separator. So if we take our example over here, we're storing hello, my name is John, inside a variable called string. Then we're printing out sentence.split, and the character that we're providing, or the separator that we want to split our string based on, is going to be simply a white space. Now the result that we're getting is a list of strings. We can tell that it's a list because we have square brackets in the beginning and the end of it, and we have commas separating each object inside the list. Now these strings are hello, my name is John, but if you take a look, hello also has a comma with it, and that's because we separated based on spaces. So the first break is over here, the second one is here, then here, and on we go. If, for example, we wanted to change our separator to be the letter M, for example, and we ran it, what we would get is hello, followed by a space, and then we have the M over here. So we only have Y and A, because this is what we're getting before we have another M over here. And then we have the rest of the string over here. Now, I know this doesn't really make sense, so we're simply going to revert back and keep our space. Now, the next and final method that we're going to learn works a little bit differently. This method is called the len method. The len method, unlike the other methods, doesn't need to start with myString followed by a dot. We're simply going to call len, open close parenthesis, and then we're going to provide it with a string that we want to get its length. The way that the len method works is it receives a list and provides us with the amount of items within that list. Now, strings are essentially lists. They're a list of characters. So that's why the len method works perfectly with strings. So in our case, when we run len myString, we're going to get 12 because we have 12 characters inside myString. You can see on the screen all 12 characters within Hello World.